And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Late and Live. We're missing Nick this week.
I thought there was someone missing. It didn't seem quite right, did it?
He's missing in action. But I'm sure he'll be back next week. I hope he's back next week.
Well, who knows? Is he outsourcing? Is he sourcing it at the midnight hour?
Yeah, I think he's going out on the drink.
Oh, he's on the booze. We've driven him to drink.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'll say a few hellos before we officially start. We got Leanne in. Hello, Leanne. Antoinette Daly. Hello. The Dave. We've got Margaret.
Is the Dave's name Dave? I mean, I assume it is.
Yeah, well,
but you never know. You never know YouTube, do you?
You do never know. His name's probably, I don't know, something completely
Vanessa.
different. Yeah. We've got Chris in. What action has Nick got involved in?
Who knows? Who knows? Hopefully he'll be let out on good behaviour, ready for next week.
Yeah. Limelight Vinci.
That's a new name.
Yeah, I don't think I've recognised that name. So thanks for popping by if you are new. Anonymous Data Point. I recognise that name.
Anomalous, not anonymous. Anomalous.
Oh, right, okay.
It's a subtle but very important difference, I
reckon. Johnny 40 Coats. He's doing Rewind. So that must be getting ready for it, I guess. I'm sure he said he was going out on a drink. maybe I'm mistaken.
Oh, is that a festival Rewind?
Yeah. He's at the Rewind Festival.
The 80s thing,
this
isn't
weekend,
it?
I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd quite like to do that myself, but always got so much going on to get.
Too busy working.
Too busy.
Nick's living it up.
Yeah. Hi, Daisy. Kez 18 is in. Ali's in. Hi, Ali. Ian J. Cinema Music is in. Lee is in. Fix It for Reselling. S is in. She's always flipping Mandy. Hi, Mandy.
I think Mandy must have mistyped that or was typing the wrong. She's got two streams open. She's typed it in the wrong stream.
Very possible.
Young men. She can stay.
Yeah.
Keep saying that.
Samantha. Hi, Samantha. Z's in. Only Cool Stuff.
Oh, good to see Z.
Richard's in. Hi, Richard.
I've noticed Cinema Music has already. He's always commenting on my very old stock. I think he's got a secret log of things I haven't sold, and it's Lego. It's always Lego. But in actual fact, I bought some more Lego this week. Got even more of the stuff.
I try to avoid Lego.
I don't like it, but I got it dirt cheap, and I've sold. I got one of those Harry Potter gamings, the Lego game things, and that's sold already. So that's been a fast one. I got a load of Indiana Jones, which I've got to put together. So yes, I've added to the mountain of Lego.
Yeah, my son had all the Indiana Jones sets years ago. Mid 2000s or something like that.
It must be. I think a lot of them came out with Crystal Skull when that came out. But
he had loads of them. He had all the Harry Potters as well, but they all got trashed and the boxes got lost.
I reckon investing in Lego is like investing in gold. Price will go up. It's all about investing. That's my excuse for holding on to it.
I don't even ask about Lego. I just let somebody else have it.
Well, sometimes you get those stalls, don't you? And it's all laid out and all very careful. You can see how very careful someone's gone to the boot there, and they're just very careful. I mean, like if you see that it's individually priced or something, you just think, oh no,
it's never going to be good.
I was amazed. Like these bags, they put them in bags, had the instructions with them. I kind of had a quick look, and all the minifigures, there were minifigures in there, and I was kind of thinking these are going to be pricey, like, you know, maybe 5-10 quid each, and it was just 2 quid each for them. And then, you know, I picked up the whole lot, and there was a big kind of box of it as well, and I gave them a tenner for the lot. And it was like, fantastic. So, you know, it's sometimes you can be surprised with prices if you ask. So
yeah, that's why I don't ask. So
gotta ask.
I'm not tempted then. I've got too much stuff. I picked up, saying that, I say I don't want to buy Lego. I'm quite happy to go and fill my car with old electricals that half don't work and the belts need replacing and all sorts of stuff.
I can only kind of do that, do that a little bit. If I did as much as you, I think I'd go mad. I really would.
Yeah, I've got a regular house clearance guy I pick up a lot of stuff from, and he always got loads of stuff for me. So.
How much sort of stuff do you know, say video recorders? How many of them don't work? How many of them do work? Is it sort of 10% don't work, or
probably more than that? It's probably about a 60% success rate, 70% maybe, maybe 50%. Like, 50% of them will work straight out the bat, no issues. Quite a few of them need their heads cleaned.
Yeah.
And then there's some that just basically just you put a tape in, it just destroys the tape and it gets stuck. And I tried to grease it and it still doesn't work. And it's like a cheap one anyway. And I just basically just put it on the.
It can be a real time sink, can't it? I know. I mean, Lego can be anything can be a time sink, really. I mean, I got a couple of Crystal Maze, like those vintage board game, and I got it for 2 quid or something. Got two. It was bloke. He had 2 of them for some reason, and I thought, well, this is an easy listing board game. Well, you know, how long? And it honestly took me an hour to sort of, you know, check it all and then lay it all out, photograph it, list it. I couldn't believe it, and you know, it's only on for about 20 quid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still worth it, but it's like, I thought this is going to be like a lot easier.
Yeah, I find that once I'm taking the top off one of the VCRs, then I've really got to quickly make a decision whether it's worth all the time. It doesn't matter if it's a more expensive one, because it's probably worth a little bit more time and effort. But the £30, £40 type ones, I don't really want to be.
Yeah, I had one of those Panasonic, like the EZ. It's weird. They do a 47V, a 49V, and both of those seem to be worth and sell for quite a lot, like 150 to 200. But I've got the 48V, which is kind of in the middle, and you'd kind of think it would be, and it doesn't seem to, you know, be in as much demand. And I got that, and it kept turning off. You know, it kept doing that thing where it says it flashes a message like getting ready or something, and it constantly does it. And it needed the caps changed, so I don't often do that, but I sent off for the cap kit. Got back, changed all the caps. It needed a remote control, so I've almost probably spent about like 20-30 quid on it already. But it's working perfectly. Trouble is, it just hasn't sold yet. But I think I've got it on for 120, and I might be trying to get more because of the work I put into it, and maybe I should just try and sell it. But there you go.
Yeah. See, I'm just never sure whether. I think we've had this discussion before when we had Leon, didn't we?
It's always difficult weighing it up, isn't it?
Weighing up whether it's worth the time. But
well, when you had,
if I didn't have like 10 other ones stacked up in the corner ready to get listed.
Well, I mean, when Mel was on, she was sort of saying the advantages of niching. You know, I can see that if I just had a load of books or a load of, I don't know, DVDs or records, and it was just all of that, and you would just get into doing what you're doing, and packing would be a lot easier. But then the flip side of that is, where do you get all that stuff if you've niched? And ignoring that stuff if you're out and about, that will give you the huge profit. So it's a tricky one, really. But you know, everything's a time sink. It's just you've got to sometimes just get on and crack on, haven't you?
Yeah. Rich has just commented here. I no longer pick up VCRs. He often sends me photos at his boot sale with like a huge pile of VCRs, like £1 each or something. And I think I would get them if I was there.
I pick them up less, you know, because I think the price has gone up slightly because a lot of people think you can flip them easily, and then you know.
Yeah, I don't pay a lot for mine at all.
Five or under, or if it's a good one, you know. If I do see a Panasonic, one of those Panasonics, or a good sort of like a combi that I know I've sold for maybe 200, I probably would push 50 on it, but I don't like to. Obviously, I'd much rather try and get it for about 20. But yeah,
I often find the combis. There's always, I don't know if it's just there's more to go wrong with them. Then you know they've got to, both sides have to work.
Yeah,
you know, the VCR and the DVD side. And then, or hard drive as well.
Yeah.
And then you've also, even if it does actually play a DVD, you've got to make sure it actually can record.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So all those sort of
check everything, haven't you?
And by the time you did all that, one of them's bound to. Depends where you get them from as well. I mean, I get mine from a dubious source. You know, it's like house clearance. Probably,
yeah.
You know, somebody's discarded them at some point. You know, and. Yeah, I think if you get them from like somebody just selling their one from their loft, you might have a better chance, I guess.
Those combis, yeah, that's why it's really good for the really good ones, just to know, you know, selling as parts price, because you know, if you can, if you know you could get like 60 quid parts, and you know, you're all right paying 40, 50 quid for it.
Yeah.
But my real pickup of the week, I will show you this. This was on a thumbnail. I was. Very pleased. I did get a load of vintage Star Wars. So I've got an AT-AT Walker and what else? A Rebel Troop. But this, have I put the batteries in? Have I turned it off? I think I've turned it off. I was playing with this in the kitchen. And it actually does like it's going mental. But it does like a hologram as well. I'll turn it off. And does the Princess, like, so you get this little kind of silhouette of Princess Leia, and it does that. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. And it's got a remote control and everything, and it's absolutely brilliant. And it cost £5. I almost didn't, but he wanted a tenner originally, and I almost didn't get it because I was like, I haven't got a box for this size. But I've had so much fun playing with it.
How much is that going to be worth listing for, do you think?
I only sort of very, very quickly had a look on eBay, and I think it's anywhere between 60 and 100. The remote control doesn't have a battery cover, but I don't think that'll. I'm just glad it works.
Yeah, probably won't matter too much.
No, I mean it's just a brilliant thing to have. The only trouble is like all of my boys were saying, "Are we keeping it? Are we keeping it?" I was like, "No, afraid not. It's got to go." But we'll have some fun with it before he goes.
Z says he only bothers with SVHS players now.
Yeah, it's SVHS I look at for 6-head ones, and generally I would get a combi, if it's a decent looking one. But it's I can't remember the last time I saw an SVHS.
I don't think I've seen one for a while. Although I don't really look at the VCRs when I'm buying them. I literally pick them because it's house clearance guy. He sort of saves them for me, but he piles them up, and I basically take all the decent looking ones.
I was going to say,
I find the old, you get the old ones that are just early 80s front loading video recorders. They're quite heavy. They're always knackered because I think they're just so old.
I saw the one my mum and dad had, the first, like my dad got one very early on, and it's actually it's a top loading thing, and it's in two parts. One part is the player, and the other part is the tuner. I forget what make it is.
Oh, I think I've got one of them down there.
And the idea was that if you wanted to use the camera, you would just take the player with you, and that would plug into the camera. You wouldn't need the tuner. You wouldn't need the TV tuner bit.
Was it a Canon?
Might have been, or I can't remember if it's Canon or a Sony. But it's in two. I was amazed when I saw a boot file. I was like, oh my god, that's our old video recorder. It's a great video recorder, and the remote controls on a wire, and you have to plug it in.
Ferguson Video Star as well. That's a similar sort of thing.
Yeah, but my dad used to do video weddings and go with half the video, and his massive, great big camera, film his these people's weddings and hope the battery didn't run out. So.
Yeah, this one's got like a big battery pack, which was that thing, and it's got a camcorder that's huge.
Yeah,
and it's got like a portable video recorder with it. So yeah,
it's big blue batteries it used to take. Oh god, it's crazy.
You usually find the batteries are knackered as well, aren't they?
Yeah, always knackered.
JVC or Panasonic brands. Yeah.
So does your guy? I mean, you don't have to take every video recorder you see. He does. I mean, what happens if you go along and there's only like a couple out of 15 video recorders, and you do that for 3 weeks on the trot? Does he not say?
At one point, he gives me a good price, and he basically, I sort of removed some of the stuff he'd sort of piled up for me. And he said, no, that's the price if you take the lot.
Yeah.
But I've stopped doing that now because at the end of the day, okay, they're cheap, but it's no good if half of the stuff is going to be no good to me.
Yeah.
I'm basically paying twice the price then.
Yeah.
Because
definitely.
the stuff's, the other stuff's no good or knackered or whatever.
You get someone else for that all that rubbish. I'll just take the better stuff.
Yeah. So I do just take the ones that I'm actually going to use and need, because I find the old ones, the top loading ones aren't too bad because I find they sell spares repairs anyway.
Yeah.
But the front loading early ones, they're always knackered, and and I also check for smoke as well if they stink of smoke, because smoke's all over the heads and all over the rollers and everything. It's all burned up in there. There's no chance of it.
Not good for the machine, is it?
No, it's never going to work. so yeah. But that's enough of video recorders now. I think we should talk about the actual topic.
About what we come on to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, the actual topic, which is our plans for the future.
Plans for the future. It's a weird one because I mean, I don't think I got into reselling to think, I'm getting into this to make loads and loads of money. And so I don't think, I do see people who come into this, like, I know one local to me, and who's a Closet Geek. He was very much driven to get his turnover and go through the VAT threshold.
He's got a big warehouse place, hasn't
he? Yeah, and break through every ceiling that was sort of put in front of him. And I'm not like that at all, really. I mean, I just kind of like, I had, when I started, I kind of had in mind a level that I wanted to achieve. And then year on year, I mean, I kind of think about my goals, I'd probably think about them annually, around about sort of January time. And they're just to sort of increase a bit what I do. So, not drop off at all. And sometimes it is, every year is different, and some years are easier, some years are more difficult. But as long as I'm sort of increasing by sort of 7 or 8%, on my profit every year when I do my return, I kind of think that will cover sort of the rising price of things, and maybe not at the moment because things are going up like anything. But I don't expect my business to sort of go like that, to shoot up. So in terms of goals, just a sort of slow, steady increase is what I've always been after, really.
Yeah. So you're your office is basically all based at home, aren't you? You've got your storage at home.
Majority. Yeah. I mean, it's some bits here, some bits elsewhere, but it's. I suppose the one thing I do think about is maybe diversifying a bit more in what I do and getting a few more income streams. That would probably be a good goal. The main goals I think I have are things. I don't have that many around eBay. It's normally I should do more on YouTube, but I kind of never sort of get around to putting that much effort in because I'm too busy doing the eBay. Yeah. And when it comes down to it, if I think, oh well, should I list for like 4 hours or should I edit a video for 4 hours? It's never a question. It's never a doubt. It's always the eBay and the listing.
Yeah.
And YouTube can just sort of like be me filmed and chucked up. So, but
I think I'm very much the same with the YouTube versus eBay thing. Because it just doesn't. I guess it definitely isn't worth it on a money side of it for the business at all.
I mean, realistically, I mean, what are the odds of my channel, your channel, suddenly sort of hitting a nerve with lots of resellers and getting to 10,000 subs? It's very, very unlikely. It's probably always going to be around about where it is at the moment. So, with that in mind, you can't spend a lot of time on it really. All I do with my YouTube is just try and keep it honest and reflecting on what I'm doing and not really mind whether videos get views or not. It's sort of there just to. I mean, I originally started that. My goal when I started that was just to give an honest reflection of what it is to be a reseller, not give any kind of. There wasn't any gloss to it, or no BS, no making out. I'm making millions. It was very much, this might be handy. This is a pain. It's difficult at the moment. Oh, great! I've had a good sale. It really was the ups and downs. But if I kind of, obviously, I think you always like to see. I'd like to see it with more subs or whatever. But in terms of eBay, I'm kind of all right where that is, to be honest. I wouldn't want it to go any lower. I think that would be my main worry.
So you're not looking at like getting sort of a storage unit, that sort of thing?
No. I think knowing how much they cost to rent, I just couldn't see how that would be worth it. I know a lot of people do make it work.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to increase the business so much to make it worth getting the storage.
I mean, I mean, I've kind of looked at the numbers, and I mean, it surprises me that resellers can do it, to be honest. But obviously they do, and they make it. But especially around here, you're talking like hundreds of pounds a month for storage, and I just think how hard you have to work on eBay. So if you're paying like, I don't know, £300 a month for storage, which is it could be £200-300 around here, for Big Yellow. For a decent sized unit, you're talking about another like 700 quid, maybe 600-700 quid turnover, which isn't which isn't easy every month. It could be third of the turnover you do, and then you've got to be consistent with that. So the Cinema Music saying YouTube channel upkeep will absolutely kill your business. Don't expect that to give you a lifestyle. Well, it's very true. I mean, when you actually look at, it's always a dream, isn't it? I'll go on YouTube and just make a few videos and everybody will love them and thousands of people, will tune in and watch it every week and think it's amazing, go viral with some, I don't know, video about clearing shelves in a supermarket, or but in all honesty,
maintaining that, don't you?
Yeah, it's the very small percentage of people will find that success. I mean, Nick does well off YouTube because he was one of the very first resellers, and so he was the first, did his YouTube yonks ago. But there are so many now. It's just realistic to sort of say, well, it's there. You do it. You enjoy it. You like telling your story, but the main business is the eBay. So yeah, I know what you're saying. Cinema music. It's definitely true.
Margaret says, moving stock faster so I can hold less stock is my goal. And that's another thing, isn't it? Like shifting stock faster so you don't have to hold all that.
Well, I've definitely come round to that way of thinking, and I don't know whether it might have been Margaret. Someone commented on one of my videos. I think it might have been Margaret who was basically saying that it's so important to look at the old stuff that isn't shifting or stuff that needs repricing. In as much as you want to get new stock and get it on and get it sold, if you've still got that, old stuff sitting around, it drags everything down. So it is very important to give a bit of time to that. And like
it's not just the storage either. It's the space in your actual eBay store, because you can have items that are just constantly just sitting there, never selling.
Well, I don't even think it's good for the store. So
because you'll bring down your sell-through rate, won't it, for the whole store?
Exactly. So eBay obviously look at these numbers. If I have heard people sort of like say, when you talk about methods of doing eBay and this, that, and the other, I've heard some people say, "Oh, well, you stick it on, and eventually it will sell." And I used to sort of not go along with that, but understand, probably be in that camp a bit more than the get it sold. But now I am the get it sold, and I think kind of a lot of people are.
I am to a degree. If it's something, I don't know, like the video record, coming back to the video recorders, I get them all the time, and I know that this weekend I'll get some more. So if somebody sends me, I've got a sort of set price that I usually sell them for. Somebody sends me a bit of a lowish offer, I'm happy to take it, because it gets one shifted, and I can just get another one. It doesn't. Yeah. But for example, I had a very rare one that sold today. Got a really good price on it, and I won't see another one of those again. So I'm happy to hold out for a higher price for that one.
I think that's the only sort of instance where it might be worth hanging on eBay, because if something is rare, then by definition, the people after it will be few and far between. But if something's sitting there because it's rubbish, you need to take it off. If something is sitting there because it's overpriced, you need to lower the price. And
I don't think everything will sell. I mean, I've got some old phone cases, right? And I got these from an auction. I've got of them, and I sold quite a few of them. All the sort of decent ones sold, and now I'm left with the real dregs. The old
exactly
BlackBerry cases and stuff like that.
I've got boxes of like 4G, their armband, and you can stick your phone in there. And I only bought them for like, I don't know, £6 plus auction fees, so it's probably about £10 in total. And I've probably made about £100, but I've still got 2 boxes of these things, and I'm trying to sell like 30 for a £5, because I can just send it 2 kilogram small parcel, but I still won't go. And so I should get rid of it. I should just start dumping, really.
So, I've got similar sort of stuff, and that takes up a space on the shelf, which could be replaced with a decent item.
Well, I've been doing my 99p auctions, and it's for stuff I've had more than 2 years, and it is the real crud.
But I've
and it
done
still
that as
won't go.
well.
It
Yeah,
still
they
won't go.
still won't go because
People
they
just
just
do not want it.
no, it's just items nobody wants.
It's
Yeah,
just,
I do the same. I've got basically, I'm running out of space on my, I think it's 1,500 listings you get on the middle
yeah.
store by it now. So I've been using my auction allowance, and stuff's still not,
They should enable you to sort of like set a price that you'd pay the buyer to take it away. Yeah, it's like it's just, there's probably money there actually.
yeah,
I will pay you like £1 if you can take 500,
yeah,
phone cases from me,
yeah.
because it would probably be a good way to shift stuff. So
But yeah, but I'm always of the view, well, I've always had the view of expansion. So rather than selling things quick, and so I don't have to expand the storage and stuff.
yeah,
I'm sort of thinking, more storage. That means I can buy more stuff because I'm always filling the car
oh,
to the brim
that's dangerous
um,
though. That is
every
dangerous.
every week.
Yeah,
Um, and I do eventually get round to listing it because some weeks I don't. Some weeks I can go. The house clearance guy isn't there because he's gone on holiday or
yeah.
something.
Isn't the
And
danger though that you just get more and more stuff, and
yeah, this is
you know
the evidence of that really. But um, eventually you'll get listed. Though,
yeah,
is
it's been like this week I've been doing I've been scheduling listings because I'm doing this like listing league thing, and I'm going to take the numbers from like Monday gone to Sunday. So I've been scheduling all my listings. So I'm going to have 10. My number of listings will be 10 every day, and I'm going to look at that, and I'm going to be looking at how many items have sold, and looking at like what's happened for the 4 days this week. I'm like, right, okay, I've listed 10 a day, and I've sold probably 5 or 6 a day. And I was just looking at this now. I have only just got, I got back from holiday, so there was a period where, for about a week, I wasn't listing. So I think if I had been listing then, I might have had a few sales from stuff listed then. But I did think, oh my God, if I'm listing 10 every day and I'm only selling 5 or 6, surely someday there's got to be more than 10. Or otherwise, if this goes on forever, I'm just going to end up with 40% of the stuff I source. It's just like going to slowly pile up with more and more dregs.
Yeah, I mean, I always list more than what I sell every day.
Yeah.
I always do that because I like to build the store. I suppose my goal is to have more listings up, I guess.
Yeah, mine's
Which
mine's the
is
complete
the
opposite.
polar opposite, yeah.
No, I am
And I
complete
know a lot of
opposite.
people are the opposite.
Because I see so many resellers around here. So I mean, my store's about 600 items, but I know, a couple of resellers who, they do more turnover, and profit wise it might be about the same, but they do it off 200 listings, and the stuff
Yeah,
they get in, the stuff they get out. Now, I mean, they've got no problem with supply, in terms of contacts and that, and I probably have more of a problem with that. But it's definitely appealing to sort of like get stuff in, it's on the shelf, it's listed, and then it goes, rather than
I,
me
I
go
yeah,
down to my storage and go, oh my God, I've had that since 2017. It's
yeah. I mean, I'm really running out space in my sort of listed store. I have various areas. I've got unlisted areas that
yeah,
I store stuff, and I've got listed areas. And I'm really, I mean, they're both pretty much crammed full, but the listed area has always been quite, not, I wouldn't say empty, but there's lots of shelf space. But now, every time, like today, I was listing and I was taking photos and I was taking the stuff out onto the shelves, and I was really struggling to find an area where to put this stuff.
I was going to ask you actually. You do the thing where every day you look at what's ending today, and
Oh
then
yeah,
you take it off, and then you'll look at it and do a sell similar. And you said you drop the price by a penny,
yeah,
so you know where you are, how many times you've done it.
Yeah.
Do you ever sort of, so say if you had, I don't know, this, you have one of these, okay, and you've stuck it on for 40 quid and
Yeah.
it hasn't sold and you've had it on for like a year, would you go, hang on a minute, instead of just dropping it by a penny, let's actually review the actual price?
Yeah, I do.
And it should be 20 quid instead of 40 quid.
Yeah. So I the way I sort of do it is I put something on for say £39.95. That's how it
Yeah.
sort of starts its price. A few months go by and it's got down to 39.92 or something.
Yeah.
So I've done a couple of then I will reduce the price by like
Right.
5 or something. So
Yeah.
it's probably every 3 months, something like
So
that.
it's like penny, £5 off, and then
More or less.
if
But
it goes again, that's not a bad
but
idea.
it's not. I don't always do it that way. I look at each item individually, and it depends on how much time I got as well. If I've got a bit more time, I will go through and maybe reduce it a bit more if it's got. Sometimes I put the price up.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's good to have a method.
I literally put down to 0.94, whatever it is, 0.94. I put it back up to £2.95, whatever it is, because I can't really reduce it that much.
I think I've done the same with like reducing by a penny to know where I am, and I've done things by sorting by date, and I've just started doing your like look at, because I used to just take the what was it, like the items that had which were listed longest to go, because it's got the, if something automatically relists, it still has the original list date. So I was like sorting it and just taking, okay, well that was listed the longest to go. It was like about 3 months ago. I'll take those 10 off, the oldest 10. That's how I was doing it. Now I've changed it to sort of how you're doing it, but I'm very sort of haphazard. Like I'll just get a bunch of like unsold listings, and I'll put them on, and I'll get a batch of 10, and I'm like, yeah, 2 quid off that, a quid off that, 3 quid off that, and sometimes it's just like go with what you feel.
Well, I do that as well up to a point. I mean, at the moment, I must have about 30 low value items that I've ended and I haven't relisted.
Yeah.
Because they're basically so low value. They're the ones I should be really taking away and donating or something. But I don't really like to do that because they're already sorted, they're already photographed.
Yeah.
So I just leave them in there.
I know what you mean.
But I do have a bit of a plan. I'm going away for 2 weeks in October. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to schedule all of those listings every day, because I don't really want to create new listings and have them scheduled. I'd rather just get the new listings sort of straight on. So I'm going to schedule these old listings then. So every day these new old listings will be going live.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my plan for those ones. But yeah, it's definitely a.
Ashley was saying the only way that she gets sales as to end and relist, or end and make a complete new listing and full lead. Yeah, that's right. And it is strange sometimes. I think everybody knows the benefits of going on doing a sell similar, or just looking at certain things, or sending offers is another one. And sometimes you can just forget what the basics are, in terms of what to do. I kind of got back, and I was very much focused on listing new stuff, and I suddenly realised, God, I haven't sent an offer for like at least a week. And I went in and like, it should be automatic. Like in the morning, you get up and you do it. But I just
well, that is basically what I do. I've got a video. It's on my channel somewhere, like my daily routine.
Yeah,
I've called it, and this video is about 2 or 3 years old now. But I am actually more or less still doing the same thing every morning.
Oh, terrible.
I
know what I should do, and I do. I'll probably stick to it about kind of 90% of the time. But sometimes I just like go off on some, like, why haven't I done that? It's really
this is one of the reasons I do the when I sell similar on the item, I make it start at 9:05, in the morning,
Mm.
because then a month later, when I'm getting up and getting work, and I do start a bit earlier most of the time, but 9:05, those items will be ending because I started them a month earlier at 9:05.
Well, the funny thing is, I was looking at this because I was doing all my similar on ended listings, but I was doing it this morning, and I thought, oh, I better schedule them, and I was scheduling them for 1:00 because I thought when I go in and see that they're ending on this day, if they're early in the morning, if they're this sort of like 9:00 time, I'd probably have missed it because I'd be eating breakfast or something. So they're all scheduled for the afternoon. So I can get on.
That's why I set mine for 9:05, because at
It's me.
9:00
I set them for 1 p.m.
I've got time to get from wherever I am in the house. I notice it's 9:00. I've got time to get through to my office and remove them.
No,
but it is all a bit. It's not a perfect system. Sometimes they end at 10:00 and 1:00, and
would you ever think about because obviously you're growing your store, and I mean, is there any limits on that? I mean, would you ever get to a stage where you'd want to employ someone to do eBay work?
I don't think I'd want to employ anybody, mainly because I think that would feel like it's more of a proper job, if you like.
Yeah.
Because you'll get somebody turning up at 9:00 to start their work. That means I've got to be there as well.
It's funny with eBay. If anybody mentions anything about it's like even like this video, like if someone says to me, where do you want your eBay to be in 5 years, it kind of sends a shiver down my spine because it reminds me of being in a job. Where would you like to be in 5 years' time, or if I'm on like a video, if I'm on like a guesting on someone's YouTube channel, and they sort of say, tell us who you are and what you do, and I'm like, oh God, this just reminds me of like being in an office job. And I kind of really, so when people do talk about goals and things you should do, I kind of have a kind of natural aversion to it, but I know it's something you should do. So
one of your business goals, I guess, is to make sure that you don't have to go and work for the man again.
Well, yeah.
I know that's one of mine.
I mean, it's a difficult line you tread, really, because I got into it because I like the control. I didn't want to work for the man, didn't want to have to. But at the end of the day, and I'm sure we said this last week, you do have to take it seriously. You do have to work, and you do to give yourself the freedom that you have. You have to make sure when you are working, you are really going for it. But it is weird, sort of talking about those sort of like business type phrases that you hear, and I'm like, oh, that's not me. But it is really, because it has to be. It has to be.
Yeah, you have to do it under a certain amount.
You have to be serious, and you have to be organised. All those things that I sometimes am. But, you have to to be able to go out. You have to interact with people and communicate with them, to get contacts, better deals, all that sort of thing. So
I don't think I'd want employees though. I really don't.
I wouldn't. It'd do my head in. But I mean, but then again, I'm not looking to have like a £500,000 turnover business. No. I'm quite happy if I sort of like thought what would my ideal turnover be in a year, it would probably be between 50 and 60,000 a year. I mean, that would suit me fine, if I could guarantee that. And I wouldn't want to go any higher.
I think, as you know, I want more storage, but I think what I want is to keep it more or less like I've got it, but just with more space. I think that's basically
that sounds like just better organisation, and things being more streamlined and in terms of dealing with older stuff, I guess. It's,
Well, I've got my. I mentioned it before on the channel. I've got my barns to convert, which will give me a big storage space then. So that's my plan. It was going to be my plan for this year, but that's my plan for next year now.
yeah.
But that's the sort of, I was going to do it this year. I'm going to do it next year, but to me that doesn't really matter because I'll just do it next year. It's not like that's how I like to keep the business. I don't want any sort of pressure to, oh God, I didn't do it this year. Everything's going to collapse around me now.
No,
I can do it when I want. If I don't do it next year, I'll do it the following year.
Yeah, as long as you're not desperate to,
because I'm not desperate for
yeah,
it or anything like that. So my aim is basically to continue the way I am, but just with more stock, I suppose, because I do like having a lot of items on there, because I think that's when the slow periods come, there's more items for people to choose from then. So
you're definitely right. I mean,
video recorders aren't selling, but my beer glasses are selling or whatever I happen to have.
I mean, unless you've got the sort of supply contacts, having 200 items, and say if they went, or that would be difficult to replace. And I find like 600 is a good number for me, but everybody finds sort of like the level that they like working off. I think here's a question for you: if you were like younger, if you're like 20 years old and keen on making some money, would you become an eBay reseller? Would it be something you go, I'm going to do that?
If I was younger,
if you're 20 years old and you saw like Z Malik or so some other YouTuber, and you go, that's a good idea for making lots of money. eBay, what a brilliant idea! You buy stuff and sell it. Would you think, that's how I'm gonna, that's how I'm gonna get out of my parents' house and buy a house? And
I don't know, because my son's just left college and he wants to go into the police, and he's been dabbling in selling on some stuff on eBay, and he's currently working. He's got a job in the Halfords at the moment, in between, before he applies for the police and stuff, and he's got a couple of days off during the week. So I said he could do some selling on eBay during that time, but I don't think I would want him to come to me and say, "Oh, I'm not going to bother with the police now. I'm just going to do reselling." So I'm not. I think it's nice
I'd be the same. I mean, I'm happy that I did it. I worked for. How long did I work? 25. I worked for 25 years before I did this.
But I was basically the same.
I wouldn't have taken it. I wouldn't have done it if I was 20 years old.
No,
but that's with the knowledge I've got now. So it's a difficult one.
But I do believe you could do that, and it would be a pretty good thing to do. Good
experience. Of course, anything's possible. I mean, everybody.
I think a lot of the full-time, I do get up every day and I get listing and I take photos. I'm always listing every day. All of that is basically because I know if I don't do that, I'm back sitting in an office, doing basically what I don't want to do. So if you were 17 or whatever starting out, you haven't got those sort of past experiences to look back on and think, I don't want to do that.
I remember my first job out of university. It was a good job, actually. It was down at the SO headquarters down in Leatherhead. But I got there and it was like, oh my God, is this what working is? Is this what it is? Is this so like tedious? It's like, have you seen the Monty Python I Want to Be a Lion Tamer sketch? And he's like an accountant and he's going, I mean, I wasn't an accountant, but it was like, it's so like, dastardly boring. It's dull, dull, dull. And I was sat there going, "Oh my God, why didn't I concentrate on, having some sort of like really interesting job?"
The
But
thing, jobs are always, after. I mean, I enjoyed what I did before, but once you've done it for like 15, 20 years, then
yeah,
it doesn't matter what it is.
no, I think if you've always thought, I wouldn't mind trying whatever, if you get the chance to, you've got to take it.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is once you've got that sort of seed in your mind that, so I was quite happy doing sort of programming and stuff, and I had my issues with the job and the company, like loads of people sort of had the
Yeah,
same.
that's everybody who works for a company probably has that.
Yeah, you got all your sort of thoughts about how it's run and all that sort of stuff, but I would have just stayed there and carried on, sort of thing. 'Cause that's what I do. That's what I know what to do, sort of thing. But once the reselling idea was planted, and I saw it, others making a good go of it.
Yeah, Nick, he's the one we all blame.
Yeah, we can blame him all we like here. He's not.
Yeah, we'll blame him.
It was always nagging at me, especially once I got to the point where I was doing it part time and also working at home at that point. So I was basically sitting programming, but I also had my office with Tat in it as well. So I had it all going on at the same time,
Yeah.
And that's when I had to divert off either way. I had to give up the reselling, or I had to just concentrate on the reselling. So I decided to do the reselling.
Yeah, I remember. I kind of didn't take it seriously that you could do it, and then it was a friend of mine who said, "Oh yeah, he knew someone sort of in the local area who sells," and I said, "Oh, I was like, what? Like, how much does he make?" And he said, "Well, enough to live on." And it was like, oh my God. And that's, when I started looking up, that's 2016, starting up, looking at reselling on eBay, and, ended up looking at
Lots of
Nick.
people don't realise that you can actually, I mean, I've a lot of people I sort of chat to, and they, you tell them what you do, and
Still got
I don't think they realise that people can do that,
Yeah.
So I'm sure they think I'm sort of dodgy in some sort of way.
Yeah, yeah. I'll get exactly the same. And, it's always the case. Jane Ryan was asking in the chat, do you think it's best to have pay now on your items or not? Is that buy it now, or is that the immediate payment? I'm not bothered if people pay like a few days later, to be honest. Some people are.
So do you not have it on? See, I have immediate pay on everything, unless it's, obviously you can't do it on offers and you can't do it on auction.
I didn't even know. I kind of was vaguely aware that it's an option, but no, if someone buys something, and I mean, I think if it gets to like 5 days or whatever, I'll cancel it and just say buyer hasn't paid.
Yeah.
If I desperately want to get that item back on, sometimes it might just sit there for a while. But
see, I if they're not willing to pay now, then they're not getting it. It's basically my
I guess it depends. Like if it's something you've had for 2 years and you really want them to have it, don't you message them and go, try and egg them along to pay for it or something? Or
no, I never messaged them. I send them the payment reminder that eBay allows you to do.
Yeah.
If I can be bothered, because I look at their feedback and I see they've joined in 2019 and they've never bought anything in the last, or never left feedback in the last 2 years.
It's probably a hacked account or something.
And I think they're never going to pay. So
yeah,
you know what I do? I stick the quantity back to 1, and I just ignore them, and then so somebody else can buy it again, even though they've technically already bought it. But that comes with looking at the account, and I don't do it with everything. I do it with ones that almost 99% are not going to pay.
To be honest,
So
I don't really get a lot of people not pay. You know, you're talking maybe 1 or 2% of sales end up. You tend to get them. It doesn't happen for ages, and then you'll get a few come
you
along
get
at
a few.
once. Yeah, but
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I had like 10 that were just huge
yeah,
huge list that no one
I
had
know.
paid.
You wake up, you think you've had a good day. It's like, oh, they haven't paid. I'll have a look at mine at the moment. Actually, see if I've got any unpaid ones.
I had one last week who
No.
they bought a vintage chip fryer machine.
All right.
And he bought it on the Wednesday and via best offer. I think I sent him an offer, so I didn't know who was going to get the offer. So they obviously don't have to pay immediately then. So he accepted the offer and sent me a message saying, "Is it okay for me to pay next Wednesday because I can't afford it today?" And I thought, why have you clicked accept then?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I said no. The non-paying bidder thing will automatically kick in after 4 days. I didn't actually. It wasn't those words. I sort of said sorry. I'm. I can't do that because eBay will automatically cancel it after 4 days non-payment.
Yeah.
But you're welcome to buy it again next week when you can afford it. Send me an offer or something like that. Something like that. Anyway, so he messaged me back and said, "I'll see what I can do in the meantime." And I thought, right, okay, it might actually pay. And he never paid, and I cancelled it non-payment. And then he messaged me on the Wednesday and said, "Just sell it to someone else, as it's." I think he said it because it's too small or something like that. So it wasn't what he wanted in the first place.
It's just this, signs of rejection. It's anger and then remorse. He'll go through the whole cycle of them. Cinema music's just making very, very valid points there, and obviously with cost of living going up, and the fact that people will need to earn more money, people will have less money to spend. Any job is going to get tougher for absolutely everyone. So yeah, it is definitely full time, and you do have to take it seriously. Even though I still will try and avoid the cliches of making it sound like an actual proper job. So yeah, it's not all fun. Sometimes I am sitting here working away thinking, oh, here I am on a computer for like 10 hours a day. It just looks and sounds very familiar to what I used to do. So it's,
Sometimes I think that, but
there's a difference.
I'm also working in the same place that I worked when I worked for the man, because I worked from home for 2 years.
Yeah, I work from
very
home
often.
as well.
Yeah, so maybe not where you're sitting now, but where I'm sitting now was my office desk as well. Yeah. So it's all very the same because I was doing computer work and stuff. So I was sitting there on the computer, exactly the same basically. I'm just listing stuff on eBay now instead of programming.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very, very familiar. And sometimes I'm sitting there all day with a bunch of photos just running through them, and I could have been sitting there programming, whatever.
I suppose the only difference is, you're not going to have someone ring you saying, can you help me with this or sort this out, or go in and have to look at like 100 emails every day.
Well, that's it. I can get up at any point and think, oh, I've had enough now. I'm going to go and watch Star Wars, or whatever it is, and go.
Yeah, you do that every day.
So I think that's the difference, and to keep being able to do that, I get up every day and I continue feeding the eBay beast.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of goals, I think it's just, for me, it's become more efficient in what I do, maintain steady growth, not have any wild delusions of what reselling is all about. and to carry on enjoying it. And I think that is the vital thing, because if ever I get up and go, oh, if I had a week of just being really, really fed up with eBay and not knowing how to get over that, I'd probably jack it in, because I did this because I was going to enjoy it. And if that isn't there anymore, I'll try and find something else. Definitely.
Leanne did 10 years as a police officer and gave up to start a family, and then started my own sewing business, which grew really big over 30 years. But I prefer eBay now, less pressure.
Yeah. That's true. A lot of people do eBay because they're obviously good at what they do, and people there's a lot of people who've been in quite stressful jobs and spent a long time in almost a working lifetime in a job, and they've kind of earned the right to go, okay, well, I want that time, still taking it seriously, but just having that bit of control to, put the foot down when you want to work, or take it off when you just want a bit of time for yourself. So
it's also the control of how you can do your business as well, because you could tomorrow think, right, okay, I've heard about this great deal in bottles of elbow grease and I'm going to buy 1,000 of them and sell them at 50p each or whatever. You could just make that decision, whereas if you're working for the man, you can't, sometimes you can't make those sort of decisions straight off the bat.
John says it as well. He says anyone who thinks eBay is an easy living is deluded. And you do see that. I mean, even in the short space of time that I've been a full-time reseller, I've seen resellers who, there's been resellers I thought, wow, they're incredible. And then you kind of realize, oh, they're not actually that. And then you don't see them anymore. There's a lot of people who do come and go. I don't think I'll be one of those. I don't think you'll be one of those, but you never know, anything can happen. But I think a lot of people are drawn to it, and then they realize the reality of it's hard work, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely in it for, until I decide to retire, because I can't see me ever going back to working for the man.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same, and I that's probably like less time for me than it is for you. I think when I do start like drawing a pension, I'll probably do a bit more traveling, and that will free me up a little bit in terms of money I have to earn. But that will probably be that's probably like in 10 years' time I'll be thinking about that rather than now. So
yeah, but it's when you sort of your commitments, family commitments and stuff like that, once they start to, I suppose things change as well. You have different commitments then, don't you, to family and stuff, help people out and, grandparents stuff and all this sort of stuff will start to kick in, and you'll have the same amount of pressure from that side of things that you have to deal with as well.
Margaret says she's retired.
Well, I keep on joking with my brother Richard that he's semi-retired.
Yeah, I've said that. I've had people say that about me, and I say that about a few other resellers. Yeah, semi-retired. It's it'd be nice to think I am retired, but I'm not. Obviously.
No. So sometimes I always work a lot harder than I probably did in my previous job, so a lot more hours anyway.
Yeah,
maybe not when I was at
when
Rockstar, definitely the job after that.
When you have your own business, you're thinking about it all the time, or the majority of the time. So yeah.
I mean, I was listening to the Tech and Sports podcast, and Daily Refinements and all of that. And I'm not a huge fan of his, to be honest with you, but I do like the podcast with Tech and Sports. I quite like the Tech and Sports guy.
Oh, I don't know. I'll check it out. I've never.
Yeah, he's the guy he sort of partners with for his podcast. But I think that guy's really sort of knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So I recommend listening to those podcasts. And he comes up with some great ideas. You know, he reckons that there should be something on eBay that has like a little green light. So if the seller is sort of active, if you like, on eBay, it should light up.
That would encourage you. Would encourage you to pull your finger out, wouldn't it? You know, it's
yeah.
certainly true.
I think that's a great idea. But that's because I'm always sort of checking the app and stuff. If you don't, and you like to run your business a bit differently,
yeah,
then it could really screw you over. So maybe it's not a good thing. But
Samantha's asking the impossible question there, because I mean, we've said this before. Any questions like this, there's so much variation in what you could be selling, what the profit margin is. How many listings do you recommend as a full-time seller? I mean, if someone's doing what I do and selling what I sell as a sort of generalist stuff, it's not niched, it's not one thing, and I'm probably listing stuff around about, well, I'd like to be about £40 average price, maybe. Could be 200, could be a lot less. Could be a fiver. I would say 10 to 20 a day, something like that, as a full time.
Yeah. I mean, I list. It does depend on
if you're doing just DVDs, and you know it's going to be in the hundreds.
Yeah.
So it really is. We'd need to know what you're selling to answer that sort of question, and your return on investment for average for each one.
But I do think the total. I know you may. I think you differ from this, but the total number of listings you have, I reckon the more you can have it, the better. Because then there's always something for someone to buy then.
No, I'd much rather look at, rather than sort of be saying, oh great, I've got 1,000 listings, it would be, oh great, I've sold 200 things in the last week. I think that's much more important to look at how much stuff is sold. But then again, everyone's got a different view of it. So.
Yeah, I think it's important to look at that you've sold so much, but having a large amount of items available for people to buy, then that's quite important as well. But it's you need to get enough stock to be able to do that, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd much rather have 100 to 200 in demand items than 1,000 items that are not so much in demand.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky one. How many active lists? So Samantha's just said it there. How many active listings? I wouldn't look at that number at all. I would. I mean, yeah, you do need some in there, and you can't run a store with zero. But I would say if you've got 1,000 or if you've got 100, it wouldn't be any different for me. If I've got 100 and then I manage to sell like 80, as long as I can replace, get another, 80 to 100 on, I think that is one of the best stores you can have. So, everyone will have a different answer to that. So that would be my view. I like that you have different approaches. Well, yeah, you've got to. I mean, there's not one way of doing it.
There's so many different ways, and there'd be tens and tens of different ways than the two of us as well, I guess.
I mean, I've got 600 items in my store, and I'm really, really trying to shift all the rubbish that has been there for like a long time, and that will mean stuff. My number of listings will go down if I don't replace it. But I want that. I want it gone. I'm not going to keep it there to say my store number is higher.
Yeah. So I mean, I know I've been saying that I want more storage, and I suppose this sort of causes this issue, but I'm quite happy for that stuff to sit there because I've got stuff in there that have been there for like a year.
I'd hate that. I think if I came up to your place, I'd be going, stick it on 50% sale, go sell, get rid of it.
But when I list something, I always price it high over how much a completed is, mainly so I can send an offer that is the same as the completed sort of sold.
I'll price it realistically, and if it goes for a bit less, what did I sell today? I think it was like a Sony, cassette recorder, one of those black 939 recorders, and I know a lot of the time they go for like 20 quid, and I think I sold mine for 16 because I was just like, it's not a huge value item, but it was just
I'd probably list that for 25 quid.
Yeah, but I can't. I'll get it gone and then get another one in. And I never used to be like that. But
I will accept an offer if I got an offer in. That I probably would accept a 17 quid offer on it.
Yeah.
But I'd be sending offers out at 19 or something. But then it will come down in price as well through my relisting similar thing. And eventually, 5 months later, it will be at the price where it will just get picked off.
So if someone offered you like 50, this is an old classic question. If someone came along and said, right, everything in your shop, Derek, I'll buy it all, but I want it at 50%, would you say no?
No, I'd sell it.
You sell it, I'd sell it as well.
Because I could fill it up. It would just be the pressure of listing it. But if I didn't, I'd struggle to accept a price for my unlisted stock without going through it and working it out. If somebody just said, right, knocked on the door tonight and said, right, whatever you've got in that room, I'll give you £1,000 for it, whatever it is. I don't think I'd take that because I don't know what's in there.
Yeah,
there might be £1,000 one item in there, and I haven't got a clue what's in there. Well, I have a vague idea, but this stuff has been in there so long now. It's hard to remember. But there's some good stuff in there, so I couldn't do that. But yeah, the listed stuff that I've gone through and I know the value of, I'd take 50%.
Cinema Music there is just saying that the only number that counts is profit. It's quite right, and I'm finding I've found the last couple of years with a lot of people being attracted to reselling, they will come along and they're overpaying for stuff, and that has a knock-on effect of car boot sellers asking for more, and I guess YouTube probably has an effect on that as well. Being totally honest about it, but you do get people who are new to reselling paying too much and thinking they're doing well.
Well, I had that problem at the auctions.
Yeah, it's crazy.
New resellers coming along.
Yeah, so I have definitely had to have a lower return on investment, realistically, and increase my volume. I don't like doing it, and I still like. I mean, I did a haul video on Sunday, and I got some, and a lot of the time I do like haul videos. I'm negotiating price. I'm really hard on negotiating price because you can get down, but at the end of the day, I know what my minimum. Like, okay, if I buy that, I've got to get that. Otherwise, I'm just not going there. I know what that number is in my head. Obviously, I like to get way above that, but yeah, he's right, and it has got more difficult. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I have noticed it getting a little bit better from. I think it was probably about a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if like the new guys have come in, tried it, after lockdown and all of that sort of stuff, and then given up. And now it's.
I don't know. Around here, it's nuts. It really is. People pay crazy. I kind of I look at stuff and I was going, that can't continue like that.
No.
It's just,
well, that's one of the reasons why I stopped going to the auction, because there's no profit in it anymore.
Mm.
And you just got somebody bidding up like it was Storage Wars or something.
Yeah, well, that's it. People get carried away.
It's a waste of time,
There's no point in me, buying something for a tenner and then selling it on eBay for 15 quid and realise I haven't made any money. It's just absolutely pointless. Waste of time, and effort. So.
Yeah, so that's right. End of seriousness. How's it up there in the Heather Dairy? It was raining earlier. And getting cold. So, what time are we on?
Gone well over. Oh,
it was a little bit over. So yeah, I think so. Our plans are more or less sort of the same, I guess. We basically want to carry on basically what we're doing.
Yeah, no crazy kind of like, you know, I'm not a golden gecko, put it like that. I think we realise the reality of it, so that's good.
Margaret says auction prices have dropped again in the silly prices. Yeah, I do plan on going back to the auction fairly soon, just to give it a try again. But the main problem I had with that, I do end up with a lot of rubbish stuff in the auctions, because I have to buy. Well, my particular auctions, I have like 5 crates of stuff, and there's like 2 or 3 really good stuff in there, but you have to buy the whole 5 crates, and then I end up with a load of rubbish. At least at the moment, all my stuff is sourced from boot sales. It is sort of hand-picked items. So. Did you guys see the storage locker buying in New Zealand? 2 kids. God, no. I've not seen that.
Yeah, I read that on the news. Yeah, it's a horrible story, but they were very, very old suitcases from very old storage, and they're just looking into it now. Liz was telling me about it. Yeah, not a nice story at all.
No, I've not seen that at all.
Are we back on my channel next week? Or I think we are. I'm not too sure.
Well, it's your choice, really. Your next choice.
Maybe I'll put it on there. I don't know. We'll chat about that.
Yeah, because we swapped it round, didn't we? So, but
we shall see. We shall see who we're on.
I shall go to either side.
The final vote could be you. Who should we go on?
Yeah. So we'll wrap this up there. You got any videos coming out in the near future?
I will be doing my usual Monday, and probably on Tuesday I will be doing the results of the first week of the Fantasy Listing League, which I'm doing. And I think I have managed to sort of encourage a handful of people. I think hopefully Bold Finds and Happy Chap and a couple of others who sort of said they were going to sort of go along and do it will be sending me on Monday how many items they listed this week and how many items they sold this week. And we'll talk about it on Tuesday and compare our numbers. I think that'd be quite interesting because I'm always a bit nosy. How many items are people listing a day? How many items are people selling a day? So if there's sort of like 4 or 5 of us, and
sounds quite interesting.
Yeah, and Cinema Music, I am listing the doll tomorrow, so you can purchase it. I've got three dolls. He calls them the wicker dolls, but they're just they were dolls that I got and they stank. So it took a long time getting those.
Yeah, so I saw the videos about that.
Never again. I could well be burning them if they don't sell.
Yes, Leanne, I've sold those 2 systems, I think, completely now. I think I might have split out the speakers on one of them for some reason. Can't remember. But yeah, it's all gone now. So yeah, did okay, thanks. Peter Cushion wouldn't
Very
buy
true.
it.
Very true.
Yeah, I may try and do a boot sale video. I still haven't got around to editing those ones yet, but I will do at some point. Cool. I'll call it there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Sorry, I think we missed a few of the comments and stuff in there, but hopefully we covered everything.
If there's any pressing questions, stick it in the comments and we'll get back to them.
Yeah. Brilliant. So next week we shall be
on either mine or Nick's.
Yeah, either
I think it's probably be mine, so we'll see.
Cool. Great. Well, thanks again, and see you all later. Bye.